Hey guys, this is Paige from More Cars, and in today's episode we're going to talk about the 2024 McLaren 750S. A refinement of the 720S with the performance of 765 LT. 750S stats alone should make you think twice when you think it's a refinement of a 720S, even more so if you have experience with the 765 LT. McLaren engineers reckon this car is at least 2/3 of the way from a 720S to a 765 LT, and despite that say it will post lap times nearly equal to the latter. That particular McLaren, the 765, is unhinged. So powerful, so fast, so quick, it's the kind of car that makes you feel like you can't fully use it on the track, much less the road, unless you have at least one major championship racing title to your name. The 750S isn't like that at all. It's still mechanized mayhem, but it represents civilized, approachable mayhem. You somehow aren't scared to unleash it on a cold, damn, unforgiving track you've only ever seen in old racing videos. The 2024 McLaren 750S great strength is its forgiveness. It doesn't want to bite you, it wants you to go faster, and when you make a mistake, it isn't mad. It's just disappointed in you. The front end pushes a little and the rear gets a bit sideways, but neither happens suddenly nor unexpectedly. Screw up a corner and you know the punishment before it arrives, and you can therefore plan for it, correct yourself, and try to save the next corner. The 750S doesn't want you to fail, it wants you to know what you did wrong so you can do it better on the next lap. Let's get one thing straight though, the 2024 McLaren 750S is no shrinking violet. It's wickedly fast in a straight line and finds an ungodly amount of grip in the corners. Unless you try to provoke it deliberately, you won't get it loose until you travel very fast to a corner. But when you do, you punish yourself harder for making such an obvious mistake than the car does. It's unreal. Getting sideways at these speeds in a supercar this powerful and expensive out to be scary as hell, but it isn't. It's just frustrating because the 750S could do better if not for the driver. If you do just want to be sideways though, it's happy to oblige. Once you've broken the rear tires loose, you can drive it fully with the throttle. The moment you want it back under the hill, simple lift and the car brings itself back in line. It wants to grip, but even when it isn't gripping, it still wants to work with you. Switch on the variable drift control, VDC, and you can basically dial in the exact slip angle you want and go out and do it over and over without even thinking. With the standard P0 tires, your best advice to leave the traction and stability controls alone, especially if the road is in anything but ideal condition. Drive aggressively enough on your favorite stretch and the computer will get a workout. Fit a set of Trofeo R's though, and a world of possibilities opens best explored on the track. Add the Senna-driven track brake package and the 750S becomes indefatigable. While it's possible to overdrive the tires by getting too greedy in any given corner, the brakes can take far more than you can. We consistently saw more than 170 miles per hour on the track straights and the brakes continually laughed it off. The car will run out of gas long before it runs out of brake or tires. That goes double for the road. You'll be fatigued long before the car will, and even if your stamina is high, you'll just run its tank to empty. Even in its harshest setting, the car's variable crosslink suspension isn't really all that firm by supercar standards, and in comfort, it's closer than ever to magic carpet ride McLaren's been pitching for years, but has never really delivered. Though it looks fairly similar to its predecessors, McLaren assures us quite a bit has been done below the skin to make the new 75S a more engaging car to drive, in addition to making it faster. The goal, engineers say, was not to shift the performance window from the 72S to the 765 LT, but rather to widen it up and compact both. Doing so required retuning just about everything. Getting the ride and handling right required new programming for the third generation crosslink shocks to go along with slightly softer front springs and slightly stiffer rears. Aerodynamic work headlined by larger rear wing aids high-speed stability, while a somehow even quicker steering ratio points the car even more sharply into the corners. It wouldn't be a McLaren if there wasn't a lightweighting program too, and the company claims it's both the lightest and most powerful full-on production car it's built. The new wheels alone save 30 pounds cumulatively, and the exhaust steel made of steel saves nearly 5 more. Making it the most powerful series production McLaren took new parts as well. The second fuel pump helps quench the 4-liter twin-turbo V8's thirst and allows it to take more boost. A new calibration later, it makes 740 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. 30 horsepower and 22 pound-feet better than the 720S. It feels like it makes even more power than that thanks to a final drive gear shortened 15% for even stronger acceleration. Plus, if you buy the coupe, you can even see the engine from inside the car thanks to a new optional observation window cut out of the leather-covered parcel shelf behind the seats. No, seriously. Like many modern turbocharged sports cars, the transmission computer is smarter and quicker than you, but doesn't understand joy. It will make all the right gear changes, but it also knows it can lean on all that turbo torque rather than wringing power out of sheer RPM. If you want the full sound and fury, shift it yourself from the lovely linked aluminum shift paddles and Keep those revs up. Let it scream, then let it pop and burble and overrun. Hell, put it on the sport powertrain mode and it pops so loud that bystanders will think someone's setting off firecrackers. It'll also shift like an older Lamborghini, delivering a brutal kick between the shoulder blades on every upshift. Switch to comfort or track powertrain mode to avoid that bit of uncultured showmanship and get proper instantaneous dual clutch gear changes. Like most any car, there are a few things that McLaren 750S could do better. The standard seats would benefit from more aggressive thigh bolsters, while the optional carbon bucket seats are so narrow you're strongly advised to try before you buy. They may not fit. Make your jokes, but we don't carry our weight in our hips. The seats are just that tight. Though both the coupe and convertible feature clear buttresses, they only really work on the coupe thanks to its thinner B-pillars. So according to Mortrend, the convertible needing more rollover protection doesn't see the same benefit to visibility, and neither do you. There's also almost zero interior storage save for the small center console cubbies, so don't plan on bringing much into the cabin with you. The 750S now gets an equal number of things right, however. Attaching the instrument cluster to the steering column ensures you'll never not be able to see the gauges, no matter your height. Eliminating the needless old active button and putting the powertrain and suspension adjusters within fingertips reach flanking the instrument cluster makes it easier to access the car's potential. Customizable mode is always welcome, and the Speedy Kiwi button, officially the McLaren control launcher but labeled with one of Bruce McLaren's Speedy Kiwi logos, is a clever deep cut. A substantially quicker and easier to access nose filter is a welcome update, as it is more intuitive graphical user interface on the infotainment screen that, along with the instrument cluster, used to be almost functionally inscrutable to the uninitiated. So which to buy, guys? The specs won't help much. Thanks to the carbon fiber tops, the 750S coupe and convertible are nearly the same weight on McLaren's friendly scales. You can make a strong argument in favor of the coupe's slightly lower center of gravity, greater over-the-shoulder visibility, and sexier roofline, but it's countered easily by the convertible's superior audible character. It's not that the 750S coupe doesn't sound better than the previous McLaren, but rather the fact that you can hear the new sport exhaust so much better with the Spider's roof down, or at least the rear window rolled down. As much as we favor the simplicity, lower curb weight, and lower center of gravity afforded by a coupe, this is a road car. We vote in favor of the open-top soundtrack. So take one roof down, rip through a tunnel, and you will thank us for the advice. The 2024 McLaren 750S is one of those irritating cars that's too good, that grabs you by your lizard brain and won't let you go until you've mastered it. You'll never be satisfied driving it until you've put together the perfect lap, until you get every corner right and keep it flat through the high-speed turn 5 kink. And even if you do get your perfect lap, it probably won't be enough, and you know the car is game to do more. Your next perfect lap could be quicker, but the only way to know is to keep driving. Pity, but what must be done must be done. So put your foot down and figure it out, unless it haunts you all the way home. So this is it, guys, concise and precise. As a fan of McLaren, are you in line with 750S, or would you rather go all the way up to 765 LT? Let us know in the comments, and as always, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to all. Stay tuned.